people with dreads be wilding. All right, they just don't play by the rules. Yo, listen, if you ever gotta hire people for your business, or I'm sorry, bro, you can't hire niggas with dreadlocks. Listen, my mom had dreads for the last umpteenth years, or X amount of years, not umpteenth. Sorry, I take umbrage. And yo, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Sometimes moms be bugging out. That's why I'm a Buddhist today. You know what I mean? But hey, it worked out for me. I told y'all, everything is a spiritual journey. But another six paths law is you will always, as a man, if you watch this, if you're a guy, watch me right now. Listen, hear me out. You will always fail building what you want or what you have off the back of a woman or getting it off the back of a woman. And you will also always fail when you have, excuse me, when you have ill intentions. And people like this have ill intentions. So I said yesterday that for one, this nigga's a hustler, okay? But I wanted to play a clip that he went viral for. I'm sorry, viral for. And in this clip, what he's basically saying is that a vast majority of men cannot handle rejection, you know what I'm saying? And we cannot be mad at women for basically we can't be mad at women for treating men like animals and making men feel as though they're subhuman. Because again, a lot of men don't really realize that, like, yo, like, women are like mad mean to you, especially if you're not a handsome nigga like me. If you're not a handsome nigga like me, like, it was like I got older, and men had to point out, no, that's not life. That's not what other men experience. I don't get hugs at work. People do not pull me in for a woman. Hold on, man. These niggas out here ain't getting no woman embrace, man. They're not getting no. Wanted to wrap you in my warm embrace, and I make it last forever. May I get a glimpse of heaven when you let me wrap you in my warm embrace. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. A lot of niggas ain't getting that warm embrace, man. But the point he's getting to is basically he makes a point about, which really just proves how racist black folks are. We mad racist, son. Oh shit, I'm making rice. I gotta get up in a second. But he makes a point about, oh well, I know with our history, white people can be a danger to me and this and that. So I don't have time to figure out who's a good white guy and a bad white guy. I'm just going to assume they're all bad. And what it really is too is that I have two things. For one, this content is not made for the consumption of black men. Like, black men are not really supposed to watch this. That's why it feels weird to watch said content. I'm gonna put this shit up. Oh no, I got rid of my holder. That's why I know it feels weird, because again, it's really for, listen, whether women are going to tell you this or not, they have a fetish for being around a man that's going to tell them what they want to hear. That's one of the reasons why they enjoy being around gay men, because they get the benefit of, you know, having a man, you know, protection, you know what I'm saying, some of his logic, right, but also she gets a lot of his support. Oh no, that's a terrible place to put it at. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get my situation with my instant. So guys, I got an instant over here. Got an instant situation. Okay, I just want to make sure that when I got up, I was gonna burn my thigh on the instant. Can you believe that? All right, my bad, y'all. All right, the rice is safe, I guess. Let's go ahead and shout out to the dumper, and shout out to the Gretchen X podcast. This is the dude. I think his name is Deontay Kyle. I'm sorry for not having more facts.
Be accountable for the bad.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah. As a guy who lived a very social life and who was really outside, I strongly disagree with the majority. But let's keep going.
And you are accountable for that as well. Because I don't got time to figure out which white people are nice, which white people aren't racist, or da 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 da. I have to go on the actions of the group.
Right.
The group as a whole and the history of that group as a whole tells me that they are a danger to me and they are not to be trusted.
Right.
And if you can understand that as a black man and your stance towards white people, then you should absolutely be able to understand women's stance towards you. It's not a war on you.
You know what? That's pretty much all we really needed. That's all we kind of need to hear, right? So what he's saying again, conflation. So I'll also, matter of fact, hold on, y'all. Let me fix this shit a little bit. So I also been thinking about this too, about how black people, yo, we love some we love the conflate some shit. So as far as black men, so these are all psychological attacks to basically get you to shut the fuck up. That's basically what he's doing. Like words like misogynist, sexist. These are all words to policemen and kind of stop and put these strict limiters on men's masculinity and also just the expression in general. And a lot of men and men for all right, because we gotta think about where do men get to thinking that thinking this way is righteous and it's a good thing. Because you got to realize that when you go beyond treating others fairly, at some point, I don't want to say you're being done a disservice, but basically, one person has an advantage over the other person. Also, he says this shit with the assumption that when women do things, they're going to do it for a righteous reason, or if they have an advantage, or if you're in a situation where you're going to hear them out. That's assuming that she won't take advantage. Shout out to CGA. He made a really good point about how when women have an advantage, they will never give up the advantage, i.e. the prenup. A lot of women are offended or will try to avoid giving up a prenup because they don't want to give up a car. But listen, that's one of the rules of success. One of the reasons why most of y'all are not successful is because you are not willing to do what needs to be done, and you're not able to assess what's best for you, or even decide what should my next move be? What's my next move? And that's why I want you to develop your faith. Most of you don't have faith. You think faith is just meditation? No, you need to get with an actual organized religion, with a community for support and accountability, so you can develop that part of yourself. Because if you develop your faith, then you develop your sense of right from wrong. And the more conscious you are of right from wrong, the easier it is for you to make changes in your life. It's way easier for a good person to make a permanent change in their life or a gradual change in their life than it is for someone starting from rock bottom, than it is from someone coming out of jail. Or I'm saying, because you got to think about what were you doing to wind up in jail. People who wind up in those situations, for the most part, a lot of people, especially when we start getting to the lower percent of society, a lot of people have a very low ceiling, and it's mostly the mind. A lot of what you want to accomplish in life has to do with the mind. When I was younger, I wish I would have had the balls to say, no, I'm going to have an amazing body, and go look in the Men's Health magazine and say, I want to look like this. I'm going to look like this. I remember my young men's leader, Kenichi. I always was so impressed by how he did this. I remember him showing me a picture of Ryan, like that famous picture of Ryan Gosling with his shirt off. You know what I mean, with like some jeans outside, and it used to be a meme, right? I remember him saying, like, he took out now he's not from, he's from Japan, and so he took out a picture, but he showed me a picture on his phone saying that's how I want to look. And I remember, like, yo, after that, yo, he really worked his ass off, yo, and he really like got in real good shape and put on like a good amount of weight for a while. You know what I'm saying, it was quite impressive. Now he had assistants, but he still did the work though. But I was so impressed to see that shit. But anyway, going back to the point he made and going back to why I feel like people like this. Well, I'm not gonna use words like dangerous, but again, it's like this kind of shit. It's going to get to a point where only women can watch content creators like this. And listen, it's a business. I mean, and that's probably the best thing for this podcast. That's probably what he wants. That's said before. This is the because all right. When you make content, right? When you can start understanding how important it is that when you're making content, that you make it in a way that sounds as though you're speaking to the person that's listening. When you think about who you're talking to, and this is the powerful thing, like I said before, this is not. It sounds as though he's talking to black men and talking to men in general, but he's not. He's making content to where if a black woman comes across this, she's going to agree with that point, right? Because again, black people in general love to kind of embrace stereotypes about black men. It took me a long time to realize, like, yo, you stereotype other black men, and you gotta think about the data in your life. You've been in the hood a lot, a long time, and you have not been attacked a bunch of times. You have not been beat up a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got into a few little things when I was like 12. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I've lived other places, but I mean, I was in those same areas walking around. You know what I mean? Walking around. What else? Like, but in general, I had to say, yo, I haven't even been in a confrontation outside since I was a little kid. So obviously, this means that black men are peaceful. Cause I'm in the hood. I'm somewhere where it can go down, right? You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying it's impossible, but like, yo, but obviously, black men for the most part are peaceful. For the most part, they feel like, yo, if you're not bothering me, I'm not gonna bother you. Now, when them boys is outside, it's something different. But that's what that means. So a lot of us, you know, so another thing that goes on with black men is that black men can are it's very easy to manipulate black men. And I was having this conversation too about one of the reasons about why leftist and democratic thinking, all that type of shit is bad for black, because black men are always susceptible to being swayed. All right. Because you got to realize the more progressive a man is, the more, because progressive means to constantly being open to change, which I'm not saying change is bad, right? But the thing is about who you are as a man, you have to write that out in your mind. Who you are is a compilation of your experiences, your wants, your desires, revelations. You know what I'm saying? The things you survive, all these different things, right? That's who you are, but it's important to put words to it. It's crazy. I've had conversations where other black men will kind of make fun of me for pointing out all these things that men have put into this world. And it wouldn't be here if there wasn't no men, or if men stopped going to work, this shit wouldn't stop. Because the point is to let you know you can do anything. But it's going to start here. It's going to start here. What people can accomplish and what they can understand is it all starts here. But we'll also point out this fact in terms of a behavior with oh, you know what? I'm not using my soundboard enough. Hold on. What?
Fat, bro. I pick my stomach up. I put my stomach on bitches' back when I'm in the doggy, like, you raggedy bitch.
Wake up, bro. Not playing.
Drunk man is more intelligent than 3 women with PhDs.
Thank you so much.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Fight! Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight?
Wake up, nigga. But another thing that what he's doing, right? Again, conflation, but also choosing to have like a tunnel vision, or choosing to ignore certain facts for the sake of making an argument. Okay, because these are the kind of things that women will say, and also as men, always watch out for that. We'll always watch out when look. Be careful for one. You need to know what these talking points are, and you need to always pay attention when you hear them words come out of a man's mouth. Pause. And one of the reasons why someone like this will think this is okay, for one, you're gonna find out, yo, he's a street dude. Listen, it's what it is, right? I ain't mad at that, but with him being a street dude, we also understand that, yo, this dude done probably been in all kinds of situations and whatnot. And being a street dude is not about doing everything the right way. It's about you being able to identify what's best for you in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming there's gotta be some cutthroat activity, right? I'm assuming that, yo, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? But it's not about being a good guy. So someone who's a hustler like that has no problem getting in front of that camera, right? And trying to convince you of some shit. You understand?
We kicking it heavy. It start getting to a point where it's like it's getting a little serious. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And my partner like, yeah, bro. He was like, man, that hoe fine. Like, man, you might want to put a baby in her. I'm like, what?
What kind of advice is that, my nigga? Put a baby in that. Yeah, keep that around. Cause she fine.
Cause she fine.
That's crazy.
And I ain't even gonna say Shorty was. Our disconnect is we just from two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Like she grew up a lot more privileged than me. I'm selling drugs at the time. I'm robbing niggas, all type of shit. We
Okay, I don't know why I just said that, but anyway, so yo, bro, they have no honor, no rules, none of that shit. You know what I mean? And hey, listen, I'm not saying, listen, if you made a conscious effort to change and be somebody different, that's something totally different. But that only can happen through a spiritual. That you gotta go through a spiritual experience or a spiritual change first, or a spiritual journey in order for that to happen. You know what I mean? And I guess I bring it up because like, yo, this person is hustling. Even how he's delivering a message, bro. That's not how niggas talk, bro. You see how he hitting the cameras and shit, the faces he making and whatnot. Not only that, you know, you have to also be able to pick up on when someone's telling a real story that actually happened. Again, another talking point that's based off of the myriad of reasons why women wind up having a baby with a guy that they should have a kid with. And what's wild is, and I'll take it a step further, all right, with the manipulation, because again, the plantation. Another part of the plantation is black men being more willing and seeing no issue with someone telling them how to think. Like we even seen it like with the situation with the election, and I'm like, bro, it's not America. First and foremost, there's never been a time where the women told the men what decisions that they should make, and there's so many different reasons why America as a society is falling. But the most important thing, one of the main things is, and people talking about it, right? I've heard Jordan Peterson talk about it. I heard CGA talk about it, and it's like, where's the incentive for men to be great if his female counterpart is who is mid? All right, so who is mid in looks is honestly looking for the top. And it's so repetitive to keep saying top percent man, but a top 10% man. You know what I'm saying? Not only that. Hold on, man. I had another clip I wanted to show. Anywho. So one more thing I'm also going to say about the points this guy is making and what he's doing. He's also operating under the guise of believing all of the narratives that black women want you to believe about them that keeps them from improving. Shout out to Angry Man. He's made that point a lot about the reason why black women can't improve, because in so many words, people can't improve if you don't put the focus on them when it's time to critique. Black men have a hard time, you know what I mean, having a straightforward critique about black women and saying black women do this. When black women talk about black men, if they mention other men, it's to make the point about that's why this man over here is better than you, and I respect him more than I respect you. It's not the notes. They're not bringing them up to say, hey, listen. Sometimes Brad get laid off too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Brad have a hard couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. If anything, she's trying. She wants you to think that no. It's just you who can't get it together. Brad is perfect. Okay. Brad is killing it. Don't get me wrong. White men have had just way more fucking advantages. I'm like, yo, black men. First of all, we should get respect for the fact that throughout all that adversity, we started off as property, and now we own more property than ever. Now we own more equity than ever. Now we own more businesses than ever. These are the richest black people that ever walked the land. Just even in terms of income, either we had the equivalent of what income was at that time. Okay, but again, you can't really elevate if someone's trying to get you to focus on a flaw you don't actually have. If someone's spending too much, and this is the downfall of having a manipulative nature. All right, what you put your time into has a huge impact on who you become. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, fucked your homegirl last night. Didn't pull out, homie. What's up, homie? Bitch, look at me.
I gotta figure out when to play that one. Okay, there's a lot of curse words in that one. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that y'all, you know what I mean? Hold on.
Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight? Who wanna fight?
I gotta play one of my sound bites. I get the cooking sometimes. Like, damn, I'm not using no sound bites, man. So I gotta make sure I had that. Oh, you know what? It's open at home. We good. We lit, Sean. We lit. Anywho, so we're gonna take a break soon, man. But so anyway, so one thing that kind of bothered me also too is that going back to the whole incentive, and now let's steer it back to black men in particular, right? And I've been thinking about this. So CGA always plays these clips of black men with really fat women and fat non-black women and stuff like that, and he always says, "We'll never be able to beat these allegations." And I had to realize, you know what? He's right. Not that I didn't think he was right, but I mean, I'm like, damn, you know what? I'm not considering that bottom 50% as much when I make certain statements. I'm thinking about myself and where I want to be at. And I always say, I got love for Big Shirley. Listen, I still knock a BBW down. They just mean. Yo, listen, fat chicks is mean these days, bro. They can't, you know what I mean? Because again, women with the church of the baddie also practices beauty communism, where under the church of the baddie and beauty communism or bad bitch communism, for the most part, it's like under y'all logic, y'all can all assume the identity of a baddie. Again, a baddie does not mean beautiful women. It just means that they are a member of the church of the bad bitch. And who runs the church of the bad bitch? The sex workers. Who has the biggest social media presence? The sex workers. Who has more influence than ever on women? Hoes. Women who are seen as promiscuous. Women who have sex tapes. Kim Kardashian has influenced and led a whole generation of women. You know what I mean? And like, yo, and the next thing we're going to be getting into is, yo, the snow bunnies are going to multiply. That's about to be a big problem in a little bit. Because you got to realize that not all beautiful women from the white race and Hispanic race and not, yo, they be having, there's always leftover women. They can't get all, there's never enough men to go around for even all the attractive women in their group. All right? It's just bound to happen because, again, people are able to go on the same internet that you're using and see black people and experience black people, right? To the point where, like, yo, I'm in the supermarket the other day, and I'm over in the self-checkout lane. I was getting ready to bump into this kid. I think I said, excuse me. I forgot what I said. It was a white kid. And he said, oh, nah, you good? I was like, well, all right. Okay. Well, we are officially us, we are one. Okay, we are all kind of officially using some of the same slang. If an older person in their 60s is online quite a bit, and or it's maybe they follow certain podcasts, whatever it is, they're gonna learn that lingo and that slang and naturally using in conversation. Like, so slang and words we use are no longer even generational as much no more. It's certain things you're going to say if you're an older person, but for the most part, we all, for one, it's like we all say the same shit now. Like the example I give you is my boy Al was like, yo, his son was like, Dad, we're cooked. And he said he was surprised and taken aback because he was like, yo, when I was a kid, I wasn't using the same slang that my parents was using. I think that's never socially, that's never happened. There's always been a big like generational gap. But anywho, all right, what else we got here? 1 second, y'all. Oh, so I came across this video right here, right? And you got to realize that, like, damn.
Son, father. I feel like if I get married, my husband is supposed to be like the head of the house. That's supposed to be, the leader or whatever.
So in this video, right, they're asking young women basically who do you put first, your father, your child, and your husband, right? And to a certain degree, I kind of understand. Well, you know what? Actually, no. These are all actual adults. And this really shows how much, especially like with the black girls. And this is a conversation that, well, Kevin Samuels stole from Angry Man, but he had a show on basically how mothers sabotage their daughters in terms of relationships, meaning that they will not teach them how to get a better guy than the one that they got. They will not show them. They will not talk to them about it. They will not do nothing. I mean, the most they'll do is tell them to get a white man. Like people who are not American, that's pretty much that is the advice that they're giving. If you get a white man, it should all work out. If you Jamaican or some shit like that, listen, that's pretty much what you have heard. You know what I mean? And they'll try it. But for the most part, white men are more likely to make you a baby mother. Because non-black men don't really take black women like that serious. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, the internet is really like destroying, I don't say people's grasp on reality, but it's like people are so confused. At times I be having to realize that when I hear certain things on my favorite content creator show, I'm like, he's not talking about me. And that doesn't really necessarily apply to me. Like when I hear like the 50-50 conversation, I more so get triggered because it's like, this is going to keep y'all single. Stop talking about this. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not really a practical conversation. It's just pretty much, it's for the most part. For the most part, it's women's. How can I say? Women becoming more aggressive about. I'm not gonna say being taken care of. But women being more aggressive about getting a man's time, attention, and resources. Shout out to CGA. Yeah, here we go. Okay, because for the most part, that and again, women are kind of able to, in terms of what women can do. Women really can take a lot of shit by force. All right, women like this through like societal norms and society in general. Women have so many advantages over you. Like just like with marriage, I'm like, damn. I be thinking like, wow, you know what? I'm probably not going to get married. Like I'm like, damn, I'm glad I'm not married. Especially if you plan on being somebody like, yo, we gonna have to have a contract. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? Yo, am I paranoid? I'm hearing shit from outside. Yo, I'm over getting distracted. Sorry, y'all. Anywho, damn, lost train of thought. Anywho, so back to the whole sabotage thing, right? First of all, people don't realize how much energy women put into sabotaging. For the most part, it's something that women kind of, whether they sabotaging themselves, sabotaging the kids, but like women, like for example, like with my ex, I remember her telling me, I've never been spoken to about what men like and what men want. I'm like, then how are you supposed to be how are you supposed to have a good marriage? Because the thing is, your mother and father have been in relationships in the same way they're supposed to be teaching you how to have a good life, and first of all, not to make the same mistakes. They're supposed to also teach you about having a good relationship. And for the most part, the only advice women seem to give other women, especially in 2025, is advice on how to be a better manipulator, right? And that has, and a lot of it has to do with the absence of spirituality. Because you have no spirituality, because you don't believe in nothing, it doesn't bother you to hurt people. You know what I'm saying? We got to really think about, like, what does that say about you if it doesn't bother you to hurt somebody, especially hurt someone you. Not only that, it's supposed to be someone you love. And that's one more thing I think about a lot more with relationships, is the fact that when decent men get into a relationship, if he's saying I love you and I'm with you, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that men never outgrow relationships, I'm not saying that men never want to get out of a relationship, but if he's with you and as long as you have not changed dramatically, if he's a healthy minded man, especially if you have a family, he's not plotting an exit. Especially if y'all have small children. But it's like, yo, what's like yo, guys like, you know, I think his name was Deontay Khan. Guys like the host that you just saw on that show, bro, like, what are we fighting for? Because that kind of individual wants you to feel as though this group right here knows more than you, and the way they act towards you is justified. And another reason why people like that will make this argument is because the easiest way to problem solve is just to pass the buck to another man. Because when I do that, then I don't have to problem solve, okay? And also, I don't have to find the words to get through to you. And that for the most part is how people want to deal with women. They want, because they want to say, all right, well, you know what, bro? I don't know what happened, but you can do better. Because subconsciously, you also know that they're not going to change. Their response to all difficulties is, yo, I'm not changing. And that's another reason why that podcast is going to do well. Excuse me, because it supports them not changing. Okay, not only that, and I think he's probably an intelligent guy, but you got to realize also too, black women and Western women have an obsession with controlling men. They have been taught from birth that you need to be doing all these things to put limits on how much power men have around you, so you can have more freedom to do what you want to do. And now that's how we're getting to a point where, yo, there's going to be, pretty much for the most part, women are going to become more and more homeless. I have not seen one video. Well, I mean, I've seen maybe a few, but I'm not seeing a bunch of guys going viral for van life. I'm sure some guys doing it. I'm sure some guys who have TikTok pages doing van life, but not with no damn kids. All right? And usually that shit go left at some point. You understand? You heard me. So let me play some more of this clip. So again, this is one of those man on the street type interviews. Now I'm gonna let it play.
In the end, yeah.
Who you putting first, your son, your father, or your husband?
My son. I'm putting my son first. My father, then my husband.
My son.
And you see how like she laughed at the end, right? So just off the rip, right? That girl has no idea. Well, you know what? Nah. That represents what young women think a husband is. All right. They think the man, again, they think the man they have kids with, even the man they have kids with, start a life with, he's replaceable. He could always be swapped out. One of them is going to make an argument that, oh, well, no matter what, that's my son and that's my father. You know, your man could change. That's not what husband means. A part of feminist leadership, right, is basically the inability to have consistency and discipline and order. Women, there's a hard limit on how much order a woman can instill into her kids and inflict upon her kids, because that's doing the same shit every day can drive a woman crazy. Women have to switch it up. That's why they change their hair. They redecorate the crib. They move their bed around. They change the room around. I rarely ever hear men say, "Hey, I changed my room around today." Just saying, right? But again, it's part of female nature. It's not a terrible thing. It's where the creativity come from, okay? And this is why it's important to understand who women are and who men are, so we can work best together. But no matter what, if you are a woman, you will never prosper without the proper leadership of a man. If you're a man, you will never prosper under a woman's leadership. Because respect, honor, and dignity come from men. Those are male traits that women learn from men. Women do not naturally have dignity. They don't naturally have pride. They don't naturally. They may have this. They have desires and greed, avarice, and an intolerance for pressure. Hence, running from accountability. They're too emotional. They literally are too emotional to deal with accountability, because it makes, again, for the men, to help you understand why, right? Think about a time where you really fucked up and the consequence was going to be dire, and it was so bad that you couldn't help but to lie. I would imagine that's how women feel. That's somewhat how women feel when they're in the face of some kind of pressure. All right, so just to help you understand, right? Because men have a hard time they have a hard time understanding that women are way different than you. They think way different, and you have to stop looking at things when it comes to who they are. Stop applying logic. Just look at it as, okay, well, I don't really understand how birds fly, but I know they fly. Have an idea, but I know they fly. I don't really need to know. Like, why do I need to know? Do you need to know? Do you need to know? You feel me? But we know what they do, right? So anywho, you gotta really consider what kind of relationships can a young man have with someone who already thinks that you're at the bottom and you're the last priority in their life. These are the good. Now these are young women. They're going to turn into the next generation of grown women and mothers. And this is what the young men have to choose from. So, come on, man. It's nasty work, man. Listen, we gotta leave the plantation. All right, man. We're gonna take a quick break, man. I'll be right back. I mean, you won't know that I'm going, but how about a little plug talk?
I don't even understand how the fuck my plug talk. Won't take him up in his face to let my plug walk. Skirt full of space. New freak had to cut my other little bitch off. 50K you could.
I'm back before you had a chance to miss me. Make sure the levels is good. Okay, so going back to who they talking about, right? When they talking about wanting y'all to be married, and you gotta really think about. First of all, I have to always lament over the fact that you really can't get a good, sturdy, reliable fat girl no more. In my era, no, I hate this fucking camera because this camera changes. It like zooms in and out, and I do not know what makes it zoom in and out. But anyway, you can't get like a sturdy fat girl that's gonna hold it down. She gonna pay some bills. She gonna have a better car that you drive her car and shit.